How are
Hi,
you?
how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm really, really good actually. It's yeah, lovely to speak with you. I've watched some of your videos and I resonate with them deeply. So yeah, it's
Yeah, me
great to
too. I feel like I've known you forever.
yeah, you have. Just not in these bodies.
Yes,
Just
probably.
not not in these costumes for sure.
Yeah, not in
Yeah.
this costume, but
I love the what's that? I see the Buddha. What's that to the left of the Buddha?
this is my hmm. Those two are from Indonesia.
Oh, nice. They look like angels.
Yes. Beautiful, eh?
Hmm.
Very
Yeah,
peaceful.
beautiful.
Yes, it's my partner. He went to Bali and brought them back
Oh,
before
beautiful.
before we met, so I've never been there.
I
Probably
went to
one day.
have you been to Bali?
You went?
Yeah, have you? Because I went to Ubud and it was so magical.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to plug in my mic. I feel the sound probably will be better. So just what I don't like.
Yeah.
I
How's
don't
my
like.
sound?
Yes, it's good. It's good. No, let's just leave it at that. I don't like this appearance.
Yeah, sometimes I have it and it feels a bit like right in my face. Like it feels a bit too much.
Yes.
So like I put this one here and it's like it just looks too insane. Like if I could have it somehow like maybe
Yes, but it's not good enough, eh? You have to
then
bring
it's
it
quiet.
close. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll mic this today.
So I felt like speaking with you because mainly because I love your communication. It feels like self-realization and self-actualization
Yeah.
that in the process of integration of the realization there is more and more living as that, living
Yeah.
just no compromise, like there is at some point there is less and less compromise.
Yeah. It's like how many ceilings can we hit within each fragment of realization? It's like yeah, how far does someone really want to go? That's what I'm interested in, and that's what I speak on is you can have realization inwardly, but then you can also see that how much responsibility do we want to take for all of experience? And like someone just can't with you can't withstand the ascension, you can't withstand the interest in these for too long, you know? And so then
How
you've just got to
free can I be free? How more free can I be free?
yeah, you see the prison you're creating, and it's like, why am I still pretending to be interested in smaller things? Like it's yeah,
What am I still
I get
doing it? It's like
yeah.
it feels in myself right now, it feels like the projection is still happening, and
Hmm.
it's totally known that it is a projection, and then it is kind of transcended every time, but it's like smaller little bits of, oh yes, I'm doing it again. Like but it's not as painful because the biggest program of one of the biggest program I feel in myself was I need to do this work to feel safe, to have a safe income. And this program of survival was a huge thing to I couldn't do it anymore. Like the system was, it's as if you become incapacitated to do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah, it becomes physically impossible, psychologically impossible. You've set it up in a way that you get to a certain point in the incarnation where there's no choice. And that's what I like. It's like no choice to not take responsibility for choice. It's like a
Yes.
cool little path you've got set up. And that's the way you want it to be. Like if you have any choice in being inauthentic or being in scarcity mindset, then the incarnation will just run itself into just confusion. Like it needs to have some kind of drop it or get on with it. You know, that kind of like this hurts too much or it's not so much it hurts, it's almost like you just see the ridiculousness of not taking responsibility, you know?
Yes.
Are we recording this way or are
Yes,
we
yes, yes.
okay, beautiful. So yeah, that's what I wanted to really bring it to was the maturity. And I think that's what you see as well is like, right, what do we truly want and how honest do we want to get with how we're showing up, right? Like you just start to see how free how free you can really, it's not even like become, like
No.
there's a part of you that, let's say you're experiencing through one perspective, but as it grows, you start to see that that was always there. You don't become anything other than more aware of how free you already are. Like all of these little games we play with, like you said, they're money, right? Money is the ultimate test of seeing, are you going to go for it? And therefore, basically, what you're saying to the universe is, I am not secure. I need this. And when I get this, then I'll be secure. So
Yeah.
the universe is actually going off your cue, right? So, like, when you
Yeah.
see that, like you did and I did, you start to see, well, we've done this before in other lives. We've got to this place before where it was like, right, self-realization, but that doesn't mean that's not the end. Like, well,
No.
you could say deeper self-realization comes. I think you said self-actualization, but here it was like, I've been here before and this isn't the end. Like there's still some kind of thing, lesson that wants to be learned. So yeah, that's it's so cool to resonate on that frequency, especially when it's less and less people. But who cares if people are getting it? Like, doesn't I don't even mind. Like,
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
how are you finding it in terms of? Did you find you were deeply in self-realization, then these topics just unfolded more and more? Like, how was it for you?
It's funny when you speak about being here before because like I have no sense of any prior anything. It doesn't matter to me. It maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I feel I came in this life with the question, what is existence? And I came with the art was open. And I remember childhood with the picture of Jesus with his heart open and the light. And I remember just sitting in front of it and feeling in deep, unconditional love.
Mm.
I forgot that for a bit. I suffered so much. Like
Yeah.
it didn't make sense. Nothing made sense. It doesn't make sense. There's a purpose. I don't know what it is. There's a purpose. Like I was always like, I'm not at the right place. I don't belong here. Where should I be? I was looking everywhere on the outside. I'm going to
Yeah.
get this, get more of that, go here, go there. Like I tried everything. And I
Yeah.
became very empty. And so there are mysteries that cannot be explained. My dad passed, and a chunk of my identity was the good daughter of dad, taking care of him. And that when that bit left, all the worry was attached to him being better. And when that left, there was more and more emptiness. So I went through a phase of feeling very, very empty, very just powerless. There's
Mm.
nothing here. It's not. And then I felt like I'm not normal. Something's wrong with me because everyone seemed to go along with it, but I
Mm.
can't. Yeah, I feel I always was on the edge of not compromising, but the fear of not surviving. My fear was not attached to how do I look. It was more to I need safety. I need this. I need some money, some safety. Physical safety was a big theme.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
my
It's
all
almost,
the compromise was surrounding around this. And I knew I'm compromising my freedom for
yeah.
this safety. And it was so painful
Yeah.
until I had set everything in the best way that I can. Everything was perfect.
Yeah.
Like I made sure like I had a good job. It was very with nice people. Everything like the schedule was perfect, the salary was good, the vacation, everything like the traveling was good. We have a second house, everything was perfect. And I came to this realization, yeah, that's not it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's almost like the spirit knows that it needs to resolve something or see something. And so when it doesn't see exactly the issue, which really isn't an issue, it's just something we're overlooking of our power, it's like, right, I'm going to compensate by making sure the physical is in order. And once the physical is in order, then I can get my safety, which really I can only find in myself. I'm not
Yes.
giving it to myself. And therefore, if the money can give it to me, then that will be it.
Yeah.
So you can either find it in two ways: is getting the money and realizing you still feel just as unsafe. Like you can see the billionaires who have all the money in the world, and this unsafety feeling will just get transferred to their wife or worrying about their health, like you can
Yes.
have a range of things. It's so funny when it just slips to the next topic. And
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
either do it in the physical. And I would actually recommend if someone's saying like, I really want loads of money, I feel like this, I say, no, go and do it. I want you to see what it feels like because the sensation itself stays the same.
Yes.
Just the story that rationalizes the sensation just switches over because life has an endless amount. There could be a meteorite any moment, like, it'll always have like
Yeah.
something to say. But who you are will never be safe until it only finds safety in itself. And when you
Yeah.
find safety in yourself, it feels almost too good to be true. It's like, what you
Yes.
mean I can just give myself freedom? It was always just prior to circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's like the only fear ever is the light. It's only ever the brightness of just how simple but freeing it is. It's too much because then you have to give up all your identities that have smallness,
Yeah.
victim. So juicy to say that I need money because then freedom's not in your hands, it's in the bank's hands or it's
Yeah.
in this hand.
Yes. It's like as if, yeah, something knows that that's the territory that you will let go of this job, of this inauthentic way of being, of this. It's like it's very, very scary. The light, it's too simple. Yeah. And then it's, oh, it's too good to be true. This cannot be it. And
No
there's
one,
no safety can be found in the form. That's something that I heard on your channel because it's always ever changing. It's like moving sand. You can't
yeah.
stand on any kind of form. It's not going to be stable.
Yeah. That's the test you've set yourself as well, to veil a certain amount of the remembering of where safety is and see if you're going to still, how long is it going to take to just keep, and you already knew roughly the time because we all veil it a certain thickness to learn the lessons. If someone's coming in and wants to veil it thinly, like I see like 7-year-olds today already self-realized because of the waves coming in. And it's like, they have a particular lesson that they want to learn. It doesn't need them to go through 30, 40, 50, 60 years of life. They just need that. So, but
Yeah.
with some, it's a test to see the soul and to learn the lessons of basically every single lesson comes down to self-trust. Like
Yeah.
everything in self-love. Like, oh, I didn't even need money. I didn't need, I mean, it's great for the support and you give yourself whatever you need to have a comfortable life. But in terms of the true liberation, the true freedom, it's just such a funny game, but
Yeah.
it's not some.
Yeah.
It's like we actually come out of this learning so much more self-trust than you did going into this incarnation. It's like it's so interesting.
Yes, it is. I have this sense that it was known like around 52. Like I always had this intuition that there would be freedom, and I could know like when. So yes, it's kind of in myself. It feels like the veil was thin,
Hmm. Yeah,
but
even
it,
you came in, you were out with the visions with Christ and or the images that you were relating to. You come in with like a very very even more thin veil because you're so used to that realm of seamless safety, seamless love, but still there's an energy in you that wants to resolve, like whether that's an energy of scarcity or an energy of needing like a father figure or a mother figure or something. There'll be something that wants to resolve in your spirit, even though you know you're the creator then. So it veils it, it comes in, and now it has the energies within it that are still like that. And now you had this experience of enlightenment within an incarnation that gets to resolve the condensations within. So
yeah,
now it's like really just washing it clean in each lifetime. And now you're
makes
flowering
sense.
even deeper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
when I heard this, there is awareness of thinking, you cannot be thought. There's awareness of emotion, you cannot be emotion. I was like, oh my God, it's so
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah. So much more.
Like the question was, why has no one ever told me that? And there was laughter, like, who is this sign? And then confusion came for a while and seeking.
Oh yeah, it completely throws up everything. It's like, right, anyway, everything that's not in alignment with that will be coming up to be
Yeah.
eaten, digest, and released. It
Yeah,
has to
yeah.
be released, and it's like anything that can't get through the door. Like I love the narrow and narrow gates. That's what we talk about. Is like you go through the first gate. It's like, oh, there's no eye, but things can still stay in the system, right? Like scarcity mindset,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
giving yourself the self-love, still looking for safety in relationships or form or money. And then you get to the next gate and the gate says, you can't bring this through. Like it
Mhm.
doesn't get through, right? And it gets narrower and narrower until the last gate is just yourself. And in that
Yes.
gate, you can't bring any negativity through because who you are is just pure positive energy. You're just pure energy of self. And anything that says you're not unlimited can't get through because the gate
Yeah.
is too narrow.
Yeah, the gate is too narrow. Look, yeah, there's still some little s- things that come in, but it's like you become, it's impossible to divide yourself anymore. It's too painful.
Yeah. And still the
Any little division is like, oh,
sticks out. It's like before it was like, if you have long grass, right? And you have little rocks in the grass. And I was thinking like you're cutting the grass down, and suddenly these rocks that were staying in your system are now very easily seen because the grass, the confusion has come down, and now I see all of these things I was tripping up on. Whereas before, it's just you can't you just leave them in your
yes.
system.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It gets simpler and simpler and simpler.
Yeah.
Yes.
But also, what I want people and everyone to know, and myself, is that things still fluctuate. Like every time you go through a gate, it will still come back around just to keep little tests, right? And the pull will still be there to listen to scarcity mindset. The temptations come, but
Yeah.
like a little child, the more you feed it, the more it will come back. So you just say thank you, but over time they just die away until each gate you go through, they become less and less would you say believable, you could
Yes,
say, or
yes, yes, yes. Plausible.
right, plausible, yeah.
It's plausible.
You don't need them. Yeah.
And it's funny how it can be seen directly that it is the gateless gate, that there is no gate, there is no mountain, there's nothing to cross. And at the same time, even if that is seen very clearly, there's
Yeah.
the solution of the density. There's the letting go of this job that is very scary still, even after you've seen.
Mm. Yeah, it's like you're standing at the top of the mountain that's never gone anywhere in eternity. And the part of you that's coming that you're pulling up through these gates is the idea of leaving that mountaintop,
Yes.
right? So it's the part of you that doesn't feel home that is getting basically united with the soul back into basically seeing there is no separate exiled self that was ever the effect of a world. It was just a dream.
Yeah, yeah, it's the seeing also the emptiness of everything. Like if I attach myself, I am this person that will acquire freedom through this activity. The person is empty, the freedom is empty, and the activity is empty. It's just a thought, the me thought about freedom, doing this. It's like a mirage. It's really seen to be, yeah, I'm creating this mirage and then I'm running after it. But it's never attained.
Yeah, it's like you put yourself into a body, right? And you know that you've never left eternity. You know you've never left like gone into time. Like time is just a dream. You're asleep dreaming of a timeline. So you've never actually left that. But in order to learn more about yourself, you put yourself into time to then come back to yourself saying, "Oh, there is no self outside of me. There's just a way that you can like explore themes within consciousness of, let's say, if you're just sat in eternity, you're not going to know what it's like to lose yourself so deeply and still find the light, like to still come through the other side back to nowhere,
Yeah.
back to eternity. You can't do that without veiling it. Like it
Yeah,
just can't.
yeah. It's experiencing by contrast,
Yeah, exactly,
experiencing the contrast. Yeah,
exactly. How else? Yeah,
yeah. It's beautiful, magical,
it's
insane.
amazing. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. But it's like you question it until you see the reasons why. And then you realize like you think about how you felt about yourself at the start of incarnation, where you knew something was wrong or you knew something wasn't seen, but there wasn't like a self-trust. Like it's almost like this phase of certain dreams is really just to learn that you can just trust yourself. And at the end of that, you see your soul is so much more wiser. And like we can go into, there's no self, there's no soul, there is no self, right? We know there's no separate individual, but there's parts of you that do make a conscious choice to incarnate in order to experience self with
Yeah,
a small, because then it doesn't know how beautiful it feels to be in that utter bliss of
yeah,
just release from so like it's like a what was it Ram Dass said, taking off a tight shoe. Like how do you know how good it feels to relax if you don't know what it's like to stuff yourself into
yeah.
a tight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I love about your communication. That's what I meant by self-actualization. I didn't mean it on a personal level, but on what is it that I'm here to experience and discover about myself? What is it that I am to, I was about to say transcend, because of course there's nothing to transcend from one level. But at some point, when this becomes a line, I feel like it's as if the mind rests in the heart, if we want to put words on it, and it's a line. It's no more like this, is it this or is it that? It's like, okay, all right, I'm sitting in this heart space here in the comfort of the home,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I
Mm.
can engage in movement,
Yeah.
set intention, set direction, and live this life that I'm here to live, because I'm not here to sit in bliss. I'm already sitting in bliss.
Right, exactly. Right. Otherwise, you would just drop out of the body, and if there's nothing left to look at or nothing left to like have fun with, at this stage, most people just need someone to give them permission that you're here now to have fun and create. Like most people maybe are in this phase. That's why I created a video yesterday. It was like, look, guys, there's nothing wrong going on. You just need permission to just release that you're creating more problems just because you have so little in psychological problems. Maybe not so much so little, like it's just that you can just tell they're just silly little things at this stage. They're like money little things or relation little things, but they kind of like they're there at times. But for most people, I want to tell them like these are self-created now. These aren't karma. This isn't stuff you're working through from incarnations. This is basically you feeling so on the edge of just pure falling in love with yourself that you're coming up with silly things just to keep yourself behind the gate, right? And like I love being a permission slip for people to say, "Oh yeah, I can just fall madly back in love with myself. Like I don't need these stupid little things." And so now, otherwise, like I've been looking into like, do I want to drop the body? Like what's left to really like I'm in love with myself, I'm in love with reality. I don't see a difference between the two. Like, what's the purpose? And here it just feels like there's a mastery going on that wants to be balanced out basically between love and wisdom. And
Mm,
also, like, there's so much that can, I mean, you must see this as well when you're teaching people. There's so much joy, and you learn so much about yourself through teaching, like,
yes.
through
Yeah.
reflecting. So, a lot's been coming through recently of just, yeah, it's not time yet. Like, it feels really good to just really the balancing of mastery and creation for fun rather than creating money to make sure you eat. Now it's like creating because it's passion rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
scarcity. you know.
Yeah.
I want to create like an energy school or something. Like I think me and Nicole were talking about, Nicole, I think you're fellow
Yes,
teaching.
I even subscribed to one of our program.
Yeah, the WhatsApp group or
Yeah,
something.
the Telegram. I'm on Telegram with her, with a few people. It's
Yeah,
awesome. Yes,
the same.
because I want to see. I know I what I see in Nicole is this. There's more clarity, more. It's more dissolved. Like I want. So I asked her the reflection, because there's a place where I started to recontract around. That's funny to say, but I think it's a normal stage. So I let go of my safe job, not knowing what would happen. Couldn't like incapacitated to do something I don't want to do. So
Sure.
traverse some fear that arose, like I need to do something, and I just sat with the energy and it dissolved. And when the fear of this passage, I call it kind of a rite of passage, dissolve, I started to speak on my YouTube channel.
Mm,
I needed to complete there was some kind of looking into every fear, like the fear of not belonging, the fear of not being loved, the fear of being alone. I went through some kind of light, I would call it light purge.
nice.
So I did it with Kilby inquiry. And
Yeah, so
I
I
became a facilitator. So while I was doing this work for myself, looking at everything, this need to help dissolve, this identity, I will help anyone needs help.
love releasing that. It was
Oh my
like part of reincarnation stuff as well of teaching before and then having some kind of guilt complex about basically it's nothing to do with compassion. Like it's nothing to do we
No,
think we love
no.
everyone. That's the story. It's actually
Yeah.
like self-love. Like how much freedom do we want to give to ourselves? Like
Yeah.
deep down, I'm here as a mirror for anyone that wants it. At the same time, so many people started feeding on my energy. It was like when you open yourself up too much, you don't set boundaries, and you're not only there for those that truly want freedom. I get so many people asking things, and I love everyone, but if someone's not hitting it for themselves, like I don't want them in it because they're like interested in me as a person, right? If someone's trying to find out things about Matt, it's like you're not here for realization. You're here because I'm another character on social media, right? But so for me, I've become very sensitive now to any kind of reflection where they're not in it because they truly want freedom. They're in it because they want to just, everyone wants to be a spiritual hobbyist, do it sometimes, whatever. But at this point, there's been such a mastery and wisdom as well, where it's like, look, even removing followers if they're not into it, like just really getting into that mastery because like you said, you said with your job, just couldn't do the job anymore. It's the same way here. It was so sensitive to anyone that wasn't giving just a authentic reflection because you start to feel that energy can get drawn out if you don't close off to those that aren't in your frequency or aren't your resonation. So there's also this guilt that needed to help everyone, and then the discernment to see through who actually wants help because
Mhm.
they actually want to help themselves. It's not me that I can help. I'm only really reflecting back to those that know that they can help themselves, but I'm almost like a slight permission slip for them to find it within themselves again, right? But
Yeah.
some people may just be wanting to talk or this, but you know, I don't have all the time in the world, and I
Yeah.
love just
That's it.
bringing up my energy for those that really want it. And then you have so much more energy and so much less energy leakages because you know how to say no to others, which is a yes to yourself. So learning what truly was a yes to me has been something through teaching that has been so good. Like saying no to things which were no longer in my frequency just meant so much more energy for creativity. And those that like you or Nicole or even certain people coming in and like saying certain things, I love them, but I just don't even want to argue. I don't even have anything to say to you,
Nothing to
Like,
defend. Yeah.
right. And I'm so empty, it just goes through. And I think people want something back. I'm just like, look, I don't have anything to say. And it's so nice not needing to have that drama. Like,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. 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 So that's what is felt here is this last these little cord, these little guilt cord and little attachment. And
yeah, it's
because
a great,
there can be a letting go of an identity and then a new safe identity can build itself. And then you see it building. You're like, oh, this is there's this new and do I want to land here or not?
right.
It becomes like the question. So then there's, oh, okay, no landing here. The message is shifting and moving. And if it's like I feel like you can't fix it anymore. So what I was saying a year ago is not true anymore. And it was truth never changed. But
Hmm.
the integration and the clarity of the voice change.
Right, exactly. Imagine you're getting pulled up and up by yourself and you see more and more stuff. So when you're down there, you can see something. And obviously that's true at a certain stage, like no, or like just complete no self or just emptiness or something. But then you come up and up and up, and the people that maybe are just coming into this phase are obviously interested in certain teachings. And it's like, look, I was teaching that then, and there's now thousands of teachers teaching the same thing on that level, or that less of a level. It's more just like a way of perspective of self, right? And it's like you just trust yourself. Like people will resonate with you now that just want.
That would not resonate, yeah, with this. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it's very, very interesting exploration, I find, and it will stir up some kind of remnant of fear, but they're not as huge because the big chunk has been let go already. So it's just like veiling, oh, this thin, okay, this thin thing, okay, let's pop out of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
trying to release itself. Yeah, or we can. I love the realization that you can't even release it yourself. You can, but it's almost a willingness to create the kind of space. But then you see it's an allowing, like it wants to drop these things because it takes so much effort to keep these resistances going.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's say scarcity mindset. We think that, oh, I have a scarcity mindset and I'll get a wealth abundance mindset. But actually, your natural state is everything you're looking for. And it takes effort to keep thinking, I am scarce. I don't have safety. It's a mechanism, the
Yeah,
verb. It's like doing.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's release.
Yeah. It feels
That's
like in the thinner is getting, it's like the slightest guilt feels like a rock in your in your shoes. It's
yeah. It's like you can't even look at it, not look at it anymore.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So that's what I like about your I feel it speak about embodiment, about yeah, what are we here to do now?
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like permission. If someone still feels there's something more, to say yes. Like there is something more, but it's not more for the self with a small s. It's more just like you see how small that life was, right? You know that there's something so much bigger that doesn't know just get enough food, get enough money, get enough this, and then you'll be safe. The fantasy of like some kind of safety and form becomes so small, like a t-shirt that's so small that that's not going to fit anymore. Like just
Yeah.
wanting safety and form. Okay, sure, safety comes, right? There's a rock solid safety of love,
Yes.
but that's only when you don't give it to the images, right? You get it
Yes.
from yourself. You give it to yourself just prior to all experience.
That's the safety of the knowing, the never changing. That's the only
Yeah,
safety that can be found. There's no other safety than that. And
yeah,
from that, there is a sorry, I feel there's a this foundation that is invisible but solid,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
unmovable.
people just feel it in you and they get attracted to it because they see it in themselves, or they see it in you, which is really them seeing it in themselves, but they almost need your mirror as a permission slip to then see it in themselves because everyone knows they have it. That's why if someone's projecting negativity onto you, basically they really don't want to see it in themselves, this power, and they'll say, well, you're wrong and this and that. And you can just be like, look, there are so many that are stepping into this light. If you want to step into it, I'm here for you, just to like show you that you're already
You're,
free. Like I can't even get you free. I could just show you that you're sat in a
you're already
bounce.
free.
No fences. Like we decide the fences. Like oh, I love it. Because then people that really want it, they have it. Like they just it's just who wants it more? Like who wants that more than they want
More than they
small,
want anything. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So my communication is shifting from um even the word healing. There's nothing to heal. There's
Mm,
nothing to heal. And
yeah.
at the same time, honoring that, to me the wounded inner child is the mind, is like a little child.
Mm,
It needs love, the separate me, the separate sense of self, it needs love. And so I'm careful with words and the story of trauma, because then there's a new identity that I've been traumatized. But
yeah, completely here. That's what the mastery is trying to come through is learning because sometimes you have the teaching and then it's like, right, the mastery of language. How am I going to language this to someone without them thinking that this is work, like this is actually healing work? Because every time you think you have to heal, you're subconsciously telling the universe that you're broken. Like if you look at your Google history and it says how to heal, how to use inquiry to fix this, and you're just constantly messaging, I am broken, I am broken. So we have to see that healing really is always just of perception. Like you're only healing a perception of. Hold on a sec. Do you mind if I take 1 minute? There's a postman just come.
no problem. Yes.
Yeah, he knocked, but he's gone.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
like healing a distortion, healing a distorted perception, healing,
right, right.
healing.
Lens is the healed, right? It's cracked lens, and the actual self isn't touched by reality. So yeah, that's such a good point to make that somatically there's a release, but it's
Yes.
not. you're broken. It's because you think you have to.
Somatic, yeah, somatic release is common, real, and like the body will expel
It's
contraction.
whole. Yeah, it's pocketed in. It's got frozen little. It can't. It has to go somewhere. This energy of self-hatred, like this energy of just thinking you have to heal. It had to veil itself to really think that something was wrong with it, and the energy has to be stored, right? Energy can't be destroyed. It has to go somewhere, and so these bodies are like containers for us denying that we're free. So what people tend to do, they go to the symptom. They go, well, right, let's go. You got a pocket here of fear. They go to the fear. And great, there is so much to be done in just feeling at times, right? Especially early on, just feel it and feel your emotions. But that's a symptom of a belief you hold about yourself of being, small or a self or unsafe. So as soon as you go to the actual beliefs about who you are,
Yeah.
that's what frees this up. That these are basically just beliefs saying that that is the healing itself, is basically seeing that these are just not true. Like they're just little
Yeah,
games.
yeah, yeah. I like the way you put it because there is immense power in revealing the belief
Mm,
and the utility, because there's
mm,
always a hidden utility. What does it give me to help? Oh, I feel value. I feel love. Do I really need this? Is it true? Can I let this go? Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Yes, when there's a yes. When the body says no, then respect the no and feel the no and allow the no to exist. Okay, I can't, I can't, I can't. That's the work with the somatic based inquiry, which I feel is I needed a shortcut. So realization happened. There was a year of just feeling, allowing feeling, allowing feeling. It's very easy at first because they surface on their own and they're quite obvious. That's how it felt here. And
Mm,
at some point, okay, what's this? I
mm.
need to just go into it. What is it? What does it say? What does it need? What does it want?
Yeah, somatic inquiry is such a tool until it becomes an identity, and
Yeah,
then comes another ceiling where once it was cracking you through a ceiling of sticking to maybe frozen emotion that didn't want to be felt, it has utility until you see that for most people in somatic inquiry doesn't need to last that long. Like for me,
that's it.
I'm feeling, then it became, well, I am a somatic inquirer. That if I do enough of this somatic inquiry, I'll heal. And then that I was just subconsciously telling myself that I had more and more to work through. And really, you'll be surprised that the release really comes from asking the question, what am I getting out of, like, what's the payoff to thinking I'm broken? Like, what am I getting? And it's such a juice of an addiction to
Yeah,
basically, if I do enough of this work, then I'll be free. So the fear is always in release. It's never in the actual fear itself. Like,
yeah,
it's the
yeah,
fear of,
that's it. Yeah, until that becomes another place,
yeah,
another landing place. So that's what I feel is in transition in myself, is that this, yes, this is a good set of tool, but it's not an identity and it's not a place, it's not a destination. There is no destination. Can you be with that? There's no
yeah.
destination at all.
It's like there's no destination, and yet there's some kind of resolution, right? It's like the one that looking for destination in form just gets completely obliterated into just that's never going to work.
Yeah.
But there's so much. That's what I love is like telling people the ending is actually the best ending ever. Like it's just pure. It will just start to release and release and release. And if someone thinks like, oh, there's just nothing left, and nothing gets better than this, then they're in just for some crazy rides because who you are is not human. Like you don't need to drop the body to realize that. And people are starting to realize that. And yeah, if someone wants to get stuck in a certain phase, then that's just because they don't want freedom more, but then they become claustrophobic in a certain phase. Or let's say inquiry for me, there was at the end of each phase, there was a slight grief to lose that tool, maybe like a slight not addiction, attachment to that identity just to get me through to the next, which was always a deeper release once it was fully let go. And then now it feels there isn't really any techniques or tools. It's more just belief systems, any kind of, yeah, smallness, victim mentality.
Yeah,
Basically, just responsibility and maturity becomes so ramped up. You
yeah,
can't allow anything to stay that's not your own decision to
yeah,
experience something.
yeah, 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 that's it. Yeah, you can't, you know that if it is appearing in your awareness, it's because you allow it to be there, and that's it. And then you can
Right.
decide, do I want this, do I want this anymore or not?
Yeah. And then someone says, well, I'm experiencing something. I'm not choosing it, but actually they're experiencing an echo, momentum of a previous, or like a momentum of belief, right? So then they find themselves in the situation, but that's because they've planted the seed over
Yes.
time. If someone keeps trying to do healing work, that's because they've just gone through a constant momentum of believing they do. And so you've put all of your chips into one pile. So of course it takes a bit of time and patience
To
and mastery.
retrieve them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like retrieving our investment in the mind. It's a little bit the same. You retrieve some more. It's like you put all your money in the bank and you want to retrieve it.
Yeah. We just invested poorly, that's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
And
Yes.
then there's not a quick fix, but at the same time, you start to see that it is actually as quick as you want it to be. Like if you want to just completely starve the mind of its stories, you don't have to listen to them. Like there will be a pull to it, but this is why the balance between wisdom and love is so great. Because if you have the balance of wisdom that has the focus, and there's a lot in the spiritual community, but maybe they talk about like there's no mind and there's no thinking, but actually there is a strength of focus that just doesn't give it time of day. And it's a more of a masculine energy to counteract the feminine surrender, but
Yeah.
it's like it's
Yeah, I was about to bring this in the conversation when I reflected about the mind is like a little child and it needs a mom and a dad.
yeah,
So you got to have your own internal mom and internal dad. Mom is the surrender, welcoming presence of love, and dad is the assertive boundary, healthy boundary. Okay, no, that's enough. It's
yeah.
enough now.
That's such a great way of putting it. Like if you've just got a mother, then the mind can just, also this is nothing to do with actual, because some mothers are very strict, some fathers are
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah,
soft, but
yeah. No, it's just like I'm making archetype of it. Like,
yeah. The archetypal mother and archetypal father, you can just see if it was just father, right, and it was just wisdom, it's quite a dry, empty realization without the surrender of the juice. But if you're just falling onto, well, there's nothing I can do
all
about it,
is there.
I'll just let go. And it's like that's not true. Like you have a say in this, and it's that middle way which is soft and open, but fierce and doesn't give any time of day to thoughts that don't give it anything but more illusion. Like
Yeah, it's
same with
like discernment, eh? That
yeah,
this inner discernment.
yeah. Same with how we are with people. If someone comes, ultimate love, but if they're not willing to step in, then sorry, I don't want to speak with you anymore. Like this, it's not
Yeah,
harsh. It's just that
I
we're
have no time. Yeah.
right, exactly. And it's also a self-love there. And they can feel that trust you have in yourself that you don't need someone to
Mm.
like, but then also an openness if someone is in that frequency, I really want to help them because I know that they want this, right? So
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
pure love.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Such a great topic, this balance.
It's like, yeah, it's endless.
Yeah.
Endless exploration.
It's feel like there's so many masters coming through as well now where they just need to be told that they're doing great, but it's just to trust themselves more. Like it's
Yeah.
not even any, there's no learning here. It's like
Yeah.
you are the only thing that you maybe need to learn is to trust yourself deeper. That's all. Like you know the way, whether you think you do or not. And something would be telling you that a teacher does, or a teaching or an inquiry or something. And people just need permission to just be like,
Yes.
yeah,
There has
did
to
you?
be full sovereignty. Full
Yeah.
sovereignty. And yeah, some came with that already. Like it was always very alive in myself, my own sovereignty. But
Yeah.
yes, self-trust, leaning into that.
Which
And
is
I was
great.
about to mention something when you said about, when you say no, I feel that when the energy is clean, a clear no will be received clearly without
Yeah.
it doesn't create suffering. It's when it's carrying a suffering underneath.
Mm.
Like anger can be expressed and not cause suffering.
Exactly, yeah. When it comes from clarity, it's just a no that says when a no is a yes to you, everyone knows it because they see how content you are within that no. It's like a demonstration of what it's like to say no in a healthy way. But when it's coming from like like,
Guilt.
no, or like, oh look, I'm really sorry, but I don't want to speak with you. It's like,
Guilt. That's that.
yeah,
That's yeah.
feel
Yeah.
the guilt. I only apologize. I always apologize when I'm in the wrong, right? That's great to have that thing. But apologizing when you like, let's say, I don't know, you do something and so many people apologize for things that they don't need to apologize for, like who
Yeah.
they are, need to apologize there, and that can be something. And you could be leaning on one way where you don't apologize for your actual wrong actions, but you could also be leaning a lot of the time, especially the masteries, where a lot of this is just about self-doubt or trusting the negative thoughts. Is actually like you don't owe the world anything but your realization, right? You only really owe it to yourself.
Yeah.
You don't owe anyone anything, and they pick up on that energy as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and wisdom, discernment, humility, wisdom, humility, integrity keeps the mind bowing down to God. That's my feeling. It's like integrity, wisdom, and also yeah, wisdom of oh, okay, like human stuff. You don't need to apologize for everything all the time. And when you do though, do it. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
when you did something with your conditioning and you were creating suffering.
yeah.
Then I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the thing is, because a lot of those at the high end, the cutting edge of a consciousness, the trait is always usually just self-doubt. It's less, you never really need to teach someone how to have more confidence, like I mean less confidence in themselves. It's especially those that are trying to fit into a world that isn't for a lot of the time the high consciousness ways of perceiving. It will just be a self-doubt thing over their life that over time they start to realize that no one actually knew what they were talking about anyway.
yeah,
Like kind of government systems or the schools, education, corporate world, they actually have no idea. And you start to see that actually, if the one thing you are going to teach is self-trust, it's actually the cleanest teaching. Like
yes.
that's what I need.
That's why I was misunderstood.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're trying to fit into a world that were never trying to see you anyway. They didn't want the authentic self. They wanted you to get into line
Yeah,
and pay the bills. But it's
yeah.
never going to. That's one fantasy I had was enlightenment was about being able to be loved by everyone, right? And truly everyone loves each other deep down. But those that are trapped in the ego system, they find you a threat to their system
Hmm.
because you're so bright and you're shining a light on all of their things that they hold about themselves which aren't true. But
Yeah.
they like their stories. So you just have to be like, look, I'm not going to be liked by this energy,
Hmm.
but I'm here if they want me, or I'm here if they need me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like your job, for example, was never going to work to a
No.
point. You were going to get that bright, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was never going to work.
yeah.
Yeah, it was good to try though.
Right. Same.
Because then you know it's not working.
Yeah. Contrast. How do you know what you want until you
Yeah,
don't?
yeah, yeah. Try to fit in. Then no, it's not going to be possible.
Trying to fit in just feels at a certain point like an abandonment of self.
Yeah.
Like in order to fit into their little hole, you have to leave yourself outside because you can't fit. I mean, as dodgy as that sounds, it's how it is. Like we are not shaped to be put in anything. Like
No.
who we are, boundless. Like
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
so.
So yeah, well, I'm glad I could speak with you. It's really, really awesome to have a conversation. And I love your idea about an energy school, energy mastery, because that's what is entering my field now with Nicole. I deeply resonate with her message because I'm leaving this stickiness of this identity of the healer. Like, I don't want to heal anyone.
Yeah, fuck that.
There's no one to heal.
Yeah, exactly. To a
I can
point.
be of service though because I have talent for sitting with
Yeah,
deep emotion, and I can sit with any kind of emotion, fear, anger. I don't fear any emotion, so that's something that is effortless, but yeah, it is my honor to do it, but it is not my calling.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Never fit yourself into a box that becomes too small. Like
Yeah,
you heal.
that was if it becomes like a box, yeah, it's already too small. So I love this energy mastery and because you become more and more aware of where you put your energy every second, every thought, every exchange, every compromise. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah,
I
I
even
wake up and it's like, okay, let's drive this thing. Where do I want to go? Effortlessly. It's not like a search for anything, but it's a something is alive and wants to participate.
Yeah, that's the discernment here as well as also with the school, like knowing very clearly if someone comes, let's say your energy or Nicole's energy, very high frequency. If someone's just interested in, they think it's some kind of something else, also knowing that this is going to be such a just a bright group that just really want and trust themselves. And in that, there's no energy sucking, energy leakage. It's just
Yeah,
pure electricity of those. It's not like a, I don't want to close things off, but it's a thing where like you apply, and if it's suitable to you because you want it as well, then it's going to be there for you. But it's going to be, yeah, just
make it your
um,
own. Make it your
yeah,
own. It's like a co-cre it's not even it's a co-creation and at the same time not because you make it your own. You set your intention, you set your direction, and
right,
then
yeah,
yeah, you walk straight ahead and deal with what arises because every discovery will make something else arises and it's like it becomes fun. It seems like at first, when there is realization and the dissolution of the density, it's like, oh no, oh my God, that's a lot of work. And there's a phase of, I wish I wouldn't suffer anymore. And then at some point, it becomes like, okay, bring it on, bring it
yeah.
on. What's here? Show me.
It's if it just alchemizes into more freedom as well. It's like boom.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because every time something is seen, there's more freedom. And I feel like as long as there's a body, there's a shadow. And if you're willing to look, then it's beautiful.
more. Yeah, I'm sure like if you ever want to collaborate or you ever felt guided to not so much join the school, but even just like teach or do little classes or anything in the future, like I'm sure if you're resonating with Nicole or some, I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'm always keeping it open. There's no hierarchy in these schools. It's more just like masters coming together just to reflect back to other masters and create like a bit of a dynamic. So yeah, it
Let
might be
me
something.
know where I can join if a situation open up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, yeah, it's great to chat and yeah, I love your energy and your teachings and yeah, it's cool to merge the fields as well. So I appreciate the time as well.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it too. So we'll stay in touch.
All right. Thank you. I'm gonna get some tea now, so I'll be
Enjoy
off.
the day.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye bye.
joining. Bye bye.